Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Sox on Tap.
Tony, my first reaction is just, fuck yes, let's go.
Sox versus Richmond. That's where it all starts. It all starts taking care of business in-house in the Central Division.
That's right, I'm a meatball.
You got to bring that top button swag, baby.
It is always great to beat the Cubs.
And I'm a homer, so I always say they're gonna. Dallas Keuchel Lansling got some beards that you should be afraid of.
What everybody said when he gets out there, it's me versus the other guy, and I'm going to beat him. So I just love that mentality. It's cool and fucking tough.
Steve, would you say that Tony is mad online?
I would definitely say that.
The White Sox winner.
White Sox fans, welcome into the Sox on Tap post-game show. It's another edition of Sox on Tap After Dark. Three-way action again tonight. Jonnie here, NWI Steve, and Tony Marchese alongside me discussing a valiant comeback by our Chicago White Sox. Boys, this one has me amped up on a Friday night. I don't know about you guys.
Hey, yo, boys, listen. We are fueled and we are powered by 69 Mega tonight. Huge, come from behind fucking victory. I am jacked up right now. Let's go.
Steve's feeling it. I love when Steve's feeling it. I think, if we had 69 Mega around here a long time ago, maybe it wouldn't have been over for Steve. And he would have been able to perform this way all season long. The positive vibes are back. We've got good juju. Thank you to 69 Mega for coming in and trying to sponsor our show. It's really look how happy Steve is. He's all perked up. It's great. Love it. Guys, victory beers. They're flowing. Friday night, Sox win. The Oakland House of Horrors is somehow just beyond. I can't even comprehend what's happening right now with this team. I'm ecstatic. Jonnie, Steve, cheers. White Sox victory. Victory beers taste better.
What if I told you 69 Mega coming on to a White Sox on Tap post-game show 3 nights in a row was the thing that turned around a season?
Oh, we've got Jonnie on mute.
Unbelievable. Boys, we've got a lot more 69 Mega content coming your way. A lot of White Sox talk on the horizon here. But before we get into that little housekeeping, make sure you go and join the comment section here via YouTube or Facebook on Tap Sportsnet. For either of those, we cannot see the Twitter comments that come through. While we appreciate our viewers there, head over YouTube or Facebook. Go drop those comments in here so we can have a lively chatterbox in the comment section like we do almost every night here, especially with the dawn of 69 Mega. Boys, this one was a wild affair, and it was an unconventional affair because James Caprillion, scheduled starter for the A's, has a cut on his finger, something of the likes, and he's not able to go, so it's an Oakland bullpen day, and you figure that should play fairly well into the White Sox favor because you're talking about, worst team in the American League, shit like that, and guess what? White Sox don't get a fucking hit until the 7th inning, looking lifeless offensively, like what we've seen for much of the year. And somehow they're able to turn it around late, guys. I guess the first thing is, how about your reactions when you saw that rally mounting in the 9th inning? Because the White Sox score all of their runs in that 9th inning. I was kind of obviously excited, but a little bit of shock. It was kind of like a jaw dropper, That's where I was at.
I guess the first thing that we got to talk about is the fact that Cairo's boys just don't quit. So, we got to put that out there for one. Secondly, this whole thing got started by a certain Eloy Jimenez. It's almost like somebody might have spoke that into existence earlier today. I don't know. But all things considered, you have kind of that lackluster performance through 7 innings there. And then that 9th inning, you just kind of chip away at it. And, I may have woken some people up, with a little bit of excitement here tonight. Just that 9th inning rally, the way it all came about. We haven't really had another win like that this year. I'm trying to think of another dramatic come from behind win of this effect. and I'm really struggling to come up with it right now. I mean, why?
I don't think you ever won that steep, Steve. I think that's what you're getting at there.
Yeah.
Like the kind of steep comeback, especially, and obviously the score, it was 3 runs there that they had to, get back to even tie. Obviously they put a 5 spot up, but I think that in terms of the, we've been on roller coasters all year, and this is another one. We went real low, getting no hit through 5. Excuse me, no hit into the 7th. That's when we finally got first hit via Eloy, but then the upswing and the guys that did it, and the fashion in which they did it, which we'll get into the details of. But Tony, were you like lighting fireworks off on your street there? And I know you're notorious for that in big celebration moment.
No fireworks, Johnny, tonight. I was actually inside. It was a late night yesterday, so it was a little bit of a late night for me to start this off. Wanted to, ramp up the right way tonight, Johnny. So no fireworks, was not in the garage. Watched the game on the family room level today, and that's where I've been for the past couple of games. So we're not changing anything up right now. We've got to stay consistent. We got to stay consistent. We got the sunglasses back on, 83 hat. We're staying consistent through this thing. The whole game, I was just sitting there thinking, this is so White Sox to go out and use up all the runs the night before. There were some people out there online that said they used up all the runs the night before. It's okay. We're not going to judge you for that. It's all right. That's how it felt all game up until.
Is that a subtweet?
No, it's not a subtweet. I'm just talking about the people who may or may not have said that.
Well, we talked about the possibility of that even last night.
Could have happened. Yeah, we did. So there's the fact that whole game was pretty much storyboard material for what you have watched this entire season. It would have been very realistic for us to be on this show, probably only 2 of us, because we wouldn't want to come on here talking about the White Sox potentially getting no hit by a bullpen day from the Oakland A's and being very frustrated right now. The fact that they were able to come back shows a lot of fight from this team. It shows that it's a team that's not dead at all, especially with what they've been doing over the past couple of weeks here. They've maintained their position all throughout the year as basically a 500 baseball club, and they've gotten hot at the right time. And they got hot at the right time today. And it was just so beautiful to watch. This is the type of baseball cinematic shit, Johnny, that I talk about all the time. Right. It's never fucking over until it's over. And the White Sox were able to pull one out today when they didn't deserve it, when they shouldn't have won it, and they came back and they did it. I go back, Johnny, and the 2014 Western Conference Final game. Remember how devastating that felt?
Yeah.
It's the same kind of fucking, kick in the nuts that the White Sox just gave the Oakland A's tonight, in that same sense of didn't deserve it, shouldn't have happened, got lucky when you needed to, and came through. Steve, I got to give you a lot of credit on the Eloy article today, talking about him powering this team. That home run, while it felt like it might have just been too little too late, comes up huge. And as you say all the time, ball go far, team go far. Continue to inspire these White Sox players, man. You're on a hot streak.
I was going to say, I feel like I might be on a little bit of a heater between, the Eloy column today, Elvis Andrus earlier on in the week, Lance Lynn with his increased curveball usage. Sometimes you just got to let it ride. I don't know. Who knows what's going to be in store next?
I can't wait to see what's in store next, because I can't wait to see what you unlock next with this team, Steve. It just seems to, it might be fucking coincidence, but whatever it is, we'll take it right now, and we need it. But it was excellent to see that, obviously, as Tony mentioned, Eloy starting that rally in the 9th. I mean, usually we go through and kind of break down the game. We'll get to some of the other performances here, but with this 9th inning rally, I think we'd not be doing it justice if we didn't go and start from the top with it, guys. Because obviously we knew the situation coming in, down 3-0 in that 9th inning. That Eloy home run that we had just talked about, that gets the scoring going. And then you get a situation with Grandal pinch hitting for Sheets against the lefty. He draws a walk, so ends up being a good move for Miguel Cairo there. AJ Pollock grounds out, but then, hey, Andrew Vaughn had a little bit of a tough spot earlier in the game where he had an opportunity with guys on base. Very, very nice to see him chip in and get that single back up the middle to drive in the second run here. I thought that was big because Vaughn's caught a little bit of flack I've seen on the twatters, but that was a big spot. And then Romy, man, coming off a big game last night too, he ties it with a single of his own. And boys, our community picked the click for the entire weekend. Elvis Andrus coming through. The double down the left field line, scored 2, making it a 5-3 ball game. I need to break out the Elvis moves, boys.
One other thing.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, look at that. There we go. One other thing that we need to talk about with Elvis here, and I don't know how many people really caught this. When Engel was rounding third, when he was approaching the plate, Andrus was positioned perfectly where he was directly in Engel's line of vision, telling him where to fucking slide, telling him to slide wide. And if you go back and if you watch that replay, because of the angle of that slide, they weren't able to get the tag on him. This is directly what I talked about the other day in the piece that I wrote about Elvis Andrus always being in the right spot, doing the right things. That's a veteran move. A guy knowing I need to be directly in your line of sight, telling you, slide here.
Are you telling me that we finally have a middle infielder wearing the number 1 that actually has a high baseball IQ, Steve?
It is #confirmed.
I would tend to agree with that. I would tend to agree with that. The fact that he was our consensus pick to click, which we don't do on this show very often, says a lot at this point. And him in the leadoff role, not your prototypical leadoff guy. I would say if you came into this season saying that Elvis Andrus is going to be your shortstop during the stretch run and be hitting leadoff for the Chicago White Sox, no one would say, yeah, that's a possibility. What he's done to step in for TA cannot be understated at this point.
I think it
cannot be understated.
We may be riding a bit of overperformance offensively. I think the defense, the smarts, and the awareness, that's always going to be there because
even Johnny, even Kenwo, who doesn't love fundamentals, was giving credit to Elvis Andrus for fundamentals, and Steve knows how important that is.
Right,
that's
but
an endorsement.
Just in terms of if you go and look at the overall numbers and what Elvis Andrus was earlier this year, right? We may be riding a little bit of overperformance. However, I will also go and attribute that to him having a little bit of adrenaline drilled into him by being, and he said it himself, being on a team in which their games are going to matter down the stretch, right? So that, instead of playing for those bum-ass Oakland A's out there who are the seller of the American League right now, that on top of the return to that team that ended up cutting him. I think all of that extra juice is the stuff that's not going to show up in the stat sheet. So Fangraphs is going to wonder, how the fuck could he even do this? Is this even possible? Well, guess what? That's where the human emotion side of it comes through. And the White Sox need every ounce of that emotion and fire and passion and grit and TW that they can get right now. Elvis Andrus is bringing it.
Love the passion.
It's interesting you talk about, Elvis possibly overperforming a little bit. And, Anthony, you talked about this the other night about small sample size theater and everything. You go back a year ago, and I know that this comparison has been made and referenced a lot on twatter.com. And I don't know that it's a great comparison, but you think about the 2021 Atlanta Braves, Barbs, who ended up winning the World Series, and they did it without their best player. And what did that team do at the trade deadline? They made some very unsexy moves, trading for Jock Peterson, Eddie Rosario, and Jorge Soler. 3 guys that, collectively were really struggling when they got to Atlanta. And everybody said they can't fill in. They can't provide you what a healthy Ronald Acuna can. Granted, no, they can't. But the fact of the matter is this. For a short period of time, for a short burst, they did what they needed to do. The burst that the Sox need out of Elvis Andrus is even shorter than what the Braves needed a year ago. So you can get by a 5-6 week period of time where a guy gets hot, like Jonnie, like you said, you get that adrenaline rush. You get that feeling of, hey, I have a chance to possibly play in the postseason again. And as I've talked about, this is a guy that has been on teams that have been in the postseason pretty regularly, that can get the nads pumping a little bit here. Maybe you get a little overperformance. that might be all that this team needs right now.
Some would say that 69 Mega can get that done for you. Guys, I think that this goes a long way in the discussion. And Johnny, you brought it up sort of passively there. Like Fangraphs can't quantify having a guy who's hungry on your team, on your roster right now. When
Anthony, would you say, does he have that dog in him?
I think he's got a little dog in him.
Do we need to do x-rays?
Yeah.
We might need to do some x-rays on Elvis Andrus right now. And that's why there's a discussion right now going on. What do you do when Tim Anderson comes back? We talked a little bit about that yesterday, but that's because Elvis has come in here.
I have the solution.
Elvis has come in here and actually made that conversation possible, because if he came in here and flopped, we would there is not a single person on there today on twitter.com saying, I cannot wait for Tim Anderson to come back. And there's a reason for that. And that's Elvis Andrus coming in and playing his fucking heart out. So, I mean, that to me, that's a great signing by the White Sox. And they got somebody who was hungry and willing to come in here and do some shit. And I think that should be talked about a lot more.
Right. And you brought up the Tim Anderson thing there, and it's not that you don't want him back, because obviously
it's not that you don't.
Right. But we knew, like I said, you don't miss it as much right now because of the pop not being there.
And that's
kind of the loudness with the bat. Right.
But we also talked about this last year a little bit, Johnny,
right.
the it factor. Yeah. This team has it. And to me, some of that it factor, some of that it factor is, one of my best players is down. Same way Steve was talking about the Braves. There's somebody there that's going to fucking go get the job done. That's what really good baseball teams do, and that's what really good baseball teams have. Sox have not played like a really good baseball team all year. They're playing like it right now.
No, they really are. And that I like, guys. I don't know if you caught it. One that Gordon Beckham said, and he said that's like jet fuel for a team. And I love that, because obviously it's coming from a former player, so he knows, what that means. And obviously we're all jacked up here as fans, and it's an improbable comeback. If you go and look at win probabilities, I'm sure White Sox are down in the dumps there in the barrel, especially after that Jose Abreu
98.3%.
Was that like after the Jose Abreu ground out in the to start the ninth inning? I'm guessing, yeah. So you go and look at that. So obviously you get that aspect of it. But man, can you imagine what the locker room celebration's like tonight?
I hope they're
you don't even have to see the You don't even have to see the locker room. You could just see the emotion when Romy scored that run, when Andrus got that double to score the 2 runs to give them the lead. There was a shot they showed of everybody was out of that fucking dugout. They were waiting for him, being like, "Get in here, motherfucker, let's go." We haven't seen that this year. We talked about not having guys like Billy Hamilton around to kind of liven up the dugout. It has largely been a dead dugout. We've been at the ballpark a lot. We've all seen it. We've all talked about it and everything. There hasn't been that vibe this year. It was there tonight. I'll tell you that.
I'd say it was there in that Seattle game too. That comeback as well. There, I mean, obviously you didn't get the same shot of that, but just the fashion in which they came back and won that game in the series finale down up in Seattle. So I thought, it's just excellent to see at this time of the year, because we knew that they needed a big push, a big run here, and they got to take care of their own business, because you can't go in control. Well, like we look around the standings tonight, and we can dive into this more later if we want. But you see it's the Guardians and the Twins playing each other, so it's like, yeah, we ideally like that game to just end in a sinkhole, and that'd be the end of it, right? But that's not going to happen. So the Guardians win tonight. I think it'd probably be in our favor, as much as it pains us to say you root for the Twins, I guess, a bit in those games. Like that's I guess you root for the Guardians to lose. I guess that's more of where I'd go with that. But all we can do is take care of business. The Southsiders need to do what they can that's right in front of them every single day, and that's go out and win a baseball game. And they did that tonight in dramatic fashion, and it was excellent to see, guys. I got a few more notes from this game. Obviously, the comeback was warranted, and I'm glad we had an extended discussion about that. But hey, Lucas Giolito tonight, 6 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. Not the sexiest start, but still a very nice outing for him overall, despite the kind of early, it kind of looked like it might have been one of those crap nights, I guess, early on when you're looking at it, especially with the run coming across, some of the command issues early. But hey, props to him. I shit on him a lot. I think we all do. And I think there's a lot of White Sox fans that do, because it just doesn't seem to go his way. The body language doesn't match up with it either. He seems
Gordon talked about that tonight.
He seems like he pouts, right? That's what it looks like. However, he was able to limit it to a reasonable deficit that they could still come back from. And obviously they showed that they were able to do that tonight. So if you guys got any thoughts on Giolito or any of the rest of the pitchers that held the way tonight, because another couple guys that we like to crap on here, Joe Kelly, Aaron Bummer, they held the fort down too before Liam Hendricks came in and earned the save. So go ahead, pitching side. We talked a lot about the offense here. So the hurlers tonight.
Yeah, listen, Lucas Giolito, it was fine. That first inning, you had that rough start there, and you're like, okay, it's going to be one of these games from Lucas again. And like I said, even Gordon was commenting on the body language. You can tell a lot about Lucas Giolito very early on about how he's carrying himself out there. We saw that on full display in that first inning there. And then that second inning comes around, he has the leadoff walk, and then it's all of a sudden, it's like he flipped the switch. It's like, okay, I got to get my shit in gear here. And from there, he did get it together. Obviously, there was the additional 2 runs that were scored later on there. There was a big part of me that thinks that if there wasn't a first baseman playing left field there, that, maybe that ball could have been caught, that could have prevented those other 2 runs from being scored. But that's an entirely different discussion there. But he kept it to a manageable deficit. And then obviously, Jonathan, like you talked about there with Joe Kelly coming in and Aaron Bummer doing the job, putting up zeros, not necessarily looking overly dominant with it and not inspiring a ton of confidence with it, just going out there and commanding the strike zone, but they got the job done, which ultimately is what they needed in that spot. They were able to keep it close. We saw that so much early on in the season in games that they were down 2 to 3 runs. And then all of a sudden that 2 to 3 run deficit would turn into 6 to 7. And the next thing you know, the game is over. So being able to keep it in check right there and give this team the opportunity to have that rally in the 9th inning was very crucial.
I don't have much else to add to what Steve said here, Johnny.
I got one thing, and that's, I like to be as fair and objective as possible. And one guy that I ragged on multiple times before he got injured, when he came back, even in that first outing there, Aaron Bummer. And I could still go and talk about, I would like to see some more conviction, a little bit more fuck you to his game, right? But all right, that's not his personality. Good on him for getting a scoreless inning. Obviously, Joe Kelly as well, a guy who's been extremely wild in there. No walks tonight, so I guess that's a good stepping stone for him. But as for Aaron Bummer, I will say he still does look a little bit like I don't know, disinterested. It's a little weird to me, but whatever. He got the job done tonight, so I will go and give him credit for that where it's due. He kept the team at that 3-0 mark for them to be able to even set up that comeback. So, I'll leave it at that, and I'm more than willing to eat words when it's going to benefit the White Sox. So I'll go ahead and take some of it back about Aaron Bummer, but that still doesn't go ahead and change his, body language where he looks like a deer in the headlights all the time. So
look, that's a great point there, Johnny, because you go out there, you have an outing today, you retire the side, you don't give up any runs. Now build off of that. The next time you go out there, have that fuck you mindset.
Steve, I just can he ever if he's excited that he got a strike, especially to end an inning, can he pump his glove once or something, or just does he have to walk off? And
I
like,
I would.
I don't know. Not that matters as long as the results already happen, but you know what I'm talking about. Like, why do we love Lance Lynn, right? We go and get into like that kind of stuff. Why do we, like some of the certain players that we do? Why does Josh Harrison pump guys up? Because he does, like, if you're going to have this energy going forward, which they very much need to make a surge here, he can be part of it because he has the stuff to do it. Now buy into that energy mentality and feed off of it. Feed off of your teammates and all that. Don't just look like a fucking, I don't know, a mannequin, right?
And I think part of it too, you can look at it on the other side of it. If it's a scenario where they're trailing 3-0 and he goes out there and he gets that final out and he gives the big fist pump and everything, there's going to be a segment of people on White Sox where they're going to be saying, oh, he's showing emotion. Why is he doing this when they're down 3-0 in a meaningless game? So it's almost kind of like a damned if you do, damned if you don't scenario. But at the same time here, I absolutely want to see more fire and passion out of him, more conviction, because this is a guy that is going to be counted on, right or wrong, to pitch this team out of some pivotal situations here. So you go out there and you get that big out. If you are in a spot where you have to go and you have to get Jose Ramirez out, you have to turn him around to the right side and you make a big pitch and you get out of there, show some goddamn emotion, because that's a big fucking out.
Right. I guess, obviously I know he gave up that one run in Seattle, but it would have been nice to like see him after he did retire those other batters there, because you were still in the heat of the game and it's still tied at that point, like stuff like that. And that's just minor criticisms here. And I totally get the other side of that you had just brought up there, Steve. But man, it just sucks because I know the stuff is there. So like when people are like calling him nails and stuff like that, and I know the ground ball rates, and you can go and look at all those numbers and stuff, but having a little swagger to back it up is what this team needs right now and what they have been lacking all year. So I would like to see it all around from every single member of the roster, top to bottom.
Jonnie, I think what you're looking for is White Sox players to be cool and tough, is it not?
Yeah, have some passion, right? The fire, the TWTW. That's what Southside baseball is supposed to be about, right? I know the grinder rules are an early 2000s kind of thing, but still, you can go and apply the mindset of playing with some spark to you.
Didn't Liam Hendricks say before the season that other teams were going to hate the White Sox because of how they play?
Wait, Steve. Let's actually qualify this, because not that some other teams were going to hate the White Sox. He said that the White Sox were going to be the most hated team in baseball. And I take a lot of, you hear that from a player on your team, and you want them to go out and be the fucking Yankees. That's what I think of immediately. Just in the history of baseball, you want your team to be as hated as the Yankees, because people should fear facing you when your closer says that. He should be out there 60, 70 times a year closing down ball games. People hate facing us. That hasn't been the case all year. In fact, I think the White Sox are the most hated team in baseball in the city of Chicago for most of the year. That's a problem. That's the problem.
Within their own fan base.
Within their own fan base. I've never seen more hate for a ball club that is still in playoff contention in my lifetime. That's for damn sure. And there's a lot of reasons for it. And a lot of it has to do with player underperformance.
Right. And, Tony, it's, yes, a lot because of player underperformance. It's the underachieving as a whole, then, what that player performance adds up to.
On the same note, though, you could flip the script on it, Jonnie, and say the fact that they're still here shows that their talent has overcome all of the obstacles here, and yet here still we're right there. It's just you got to get over the hump. I think a lot of people came into this year thinking we were going to run away with this 20 games up by this point in the season.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about that far, but I expected the White Sox to win the Central, but it's still on the table, right?
It is still on the table. I know there were a lot of questions. Steve, you were out on this team from the moment.
Okay, no, stop it. Go back and look at my preseason prediction article where I said the team was still going to win the division, but they were going to take a step back and only win 88 games.
That's kind of still on the table too.
Look at the numbers.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Could be headed there. Could be headed there. And Steven may have another one of these. I don't know if it's coincidence or if he's
dialed in.
He's got some Nostradamus to him.
He was using the 69 mega before it was even a thing.
Before it's even legal. All right, boys. I love it. Obviously, White Sox come back, win tonight. We appreciate everyone jumping in here on the 69 Mega Train. In the comments in the future, make sure subscribe on Tap Sports on YouTube and on Facebook. Go and jump in with these guys here. So, boys, biggest takeaway from tonight before we move into Saturday preview, because it's one of my favorite days.
Biggest takeaway is this team did not show any quit. I think far too often this year, this team, when they get in situations where they are down 2-3 runs, you collectively just kind of feel like they kind of just roll over and die. And twice now this week, we have seen them come back and win baseball games that, frankly, we weren't expecting them to. That before the month of September, did anybody think they would be able to pull off comeback wins like this? I would say very few people would optimistically say that they believed that they could do it. And the other thing about it too, you had that loss when you had a chance to sweep Minnesota on Sunday, knowing that you're getting on the plane going to the West Coast for 7 games, place that has historically done this team a lot of harm. I still go back and I still think about that series in Oakland in 2006 when they were the defending champions, when the pride of South Suburban College, a fellow Bulldog, Rob Makoviak, was, I don't know what the fuck he was doing in center field, but that effectively sunk that team's season. So there have been so many bad memories on the West Coast. They are 4-1 on this trip. They have had a winning trip already. Go finish the fucking job and sweep these motherfuckers. Go 6-1 on the road trip. And let's make some fucking noise.
Love the energy tonight. Think that this is exactly what this team needs. I think there's a lot of people out there who have endured just such a brutal season from this team and have had no reason to believe, and they're finally giving people reason to believe in this. This is where maybe I've got to go in the negative Nani side of things, guys, and say this is still a team that got swept by the Arizona Diamondbacks. This is still a team that has had plenty of things go wrong this season. You have to enjoy the victories, and you have to feed off of that energy. But as we've said all year, and I will continue to say, this year into next year, you're only as good as your last envelope. You can take this one and say, I want to build on it, and I hope that's exactly what they do. But tomorrow is never promised. So you've got to go out there and you've got to do the exact same thing that you did today and win another baseball game. Because I've had it happen far too many times where I've thought this team was #redacted, as you guys like to say. I never left the boat because I'm still on it. But I want to do more post-game shows that sound like this than some of those same old story shows that we've done all year. This is fucking fun.
Let me follow that point up real quick.
Are not as fun.
Because you've been talking a lot. You've been, kind of running your mouth a little bit, saying that I want to be right, saying that it's over.
When did I ever say that you want to be right?
We can go back. We can check the tapes. Nevertheless, That's not why you
got them on my computer.
Anyway, this right here, these are the types of post games that I want to do because my mood is a lot better when this team fucking plays well. I don't want to say that it's over and be right. Like Jonnie said earlier on in the show, I will gladly be wrong in an opinion that I have if it will benefit the White Sox, because the White Sox being good will benefit my mood more than being right.
I mean, the greatest thing about baseball is you've got so many games to play. And before we get into the fact that they're trying to shorten my baseball experience because I want to.
We'll say that for Sunday.
Sunday.
We'll
I want to yell at a cloud.
Sunday.
Okay, well, you want to save it for Sunday? That's fine, John.
Yeah.
We can save that for Sunday because I've got a lot of thoughts on that.
Yeah, I do. Too.
The fact of the matter is, I like seeing Steve happy. It's great. It's fantastic. I love having victory beers with you boys and doing it on this show. So much more fun.
I love it, guys. You went real big picture there, and I don't think I can add too much without being redundant there. So I echo your sentiments in that, and that I love having fun with you guys on here and talking about exhilarating victories like this. And I'll just go and micro this, since you guys went macro there, about a instance that helped them reach this. And obviously, the Elvis Andrus hit, the Eloy Jimenez to start it will get some attention. The Elvis Andrus, obviously, big storyline with the A's, former team getting the game-winning hit with the RBI double. That'll get a lot of it. But the guy who kept that thing going in the middle there, Romy Gonzalez, he hit it harder than Andrew Vaughn did, but it was to the right spot, and it very well could have been fielded if it was hit a little bit softer. So that's a testament to him building off of a big day that he had in the series opener on Thursday night, continuing that with some confidence in a big clutch position, kept his team alive, brought home the tying run, and I thought that was really, really good out of
Jonnie
Gonzalez. So
I really agree with you here. I don't want to do this to you and put you on the spot, but if this comes down to Romy Gonzalez and Larry Garcia,
oh yeah, Romy, absolutely. It's you're only as good as your last envelope. We said it a million times here, Tony, and that applies to players, applies to the team itself, applies to us here at Sox on Tap. Was our show shitty last time? Well, that's a light envelope. Was it good like this one? That's a nice fat stacked envelope. Boys, I hope we're having another one of these tomorrow because it's a holiday for me. You know what it is. Our guy Sox Insane put it in here, the comment section. It's after midnight, so it's officially Lance Lynn Day. Fire up the fucking ZZ Top, Tony. I am fucking jacked. I cannot wait. Lance Lynn, let's go shove against these quite literal slapdick motherfuckers.
I agree. Boys, tonight's show was
unfriggin' believable. Unfriggin' believable.
So nice, you got to say it twice, Hawk. I don't have anything else except for one pick to click for tomorrow. I think I'm going to go with Elvis Andrus once again.
Ooh, very bold of you. Very bold. Steve, let's go. Any commentary on Saturday's matchup? Will be at 3:07 start time in the Bay.
Lance Lynn, curveballs, they're coming for you. Elevated fastballs, Oakland A's, you're fucked.
I love it.
Nut grabs all around. It's going to be a good day.
Hey, I love it. Joe Kelly started some of the shit talking there, so I really, really, really want to see Lance Lynn continue it today. Or excuse me. I guess, yeah, it is today since we are past midnight here, and it is officially Lance Lynn Day. ZZ Top all day. Blast it. Get your Fear of the Beard shirts on tapsports.bigcartel.com. All right, boys, we're about ready to wrap this thing up here. Everybody in the comment section, we really appreciate all of y'all in here having a blast with us on Sox on Tap After Dark. Make sure you go and check us out on tapsportsnet.com. Subscribe on YouTube, on Tap Sportsnet. Like us on Facebook, on Tap Sportsnet. Find us on Twitter, Sox on Tap. Until next time, White Sox
forever.
White Sox for life.